Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Movie Killers. And as you can guess from the title, we're going to be doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And not the Michael Bay ones. Those could be in the future. We're going to do the original 3 Turtle movies and the CGI because it is canon with the movies.
Don't worry, guys. The first movie still has an explosion.
Wait, does it explosion this one?
Well, the building does get set on fire.
It gets set on fire. Not really explosion, though.
Explosion enough for me. Anyway, this is Tom.
I'm Blake.
And let's get right into...
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power. They're the world's most fearsome fighting team. We really Ninja Turtles. They're heroes in the half shell. And they're green. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. When the evil Shredder attacks, these turtle boys don't cut no slack. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Splinter taught them to be ninja teens. So radical rat. Leonardo leads Donatello the machine. So Raphael is cool but rude. Michelangelo is a party dude. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
We're going to be doing the first 3 movies, then the CGI.
Okay.
And did you want to do the Michael Bay ones in the future?
I want to see how sick of watching Ninja Turtles I really am after we do these 4 movies and see if I could sit through the maybe 2 worst Ninja Turtle movies.
Yeah, Michael Bay does have the reputation
rather
of
watch-
Transformers.
I would rather watch number 3
The weakest
than the
one.
Michael Bays.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
then, yeah. Okay. Well, the Michael Bay ones are on hold. If you guys really want us to do,
All right. So give me one of yours, because I only found one major plot hole in this movie. The rest are minor little plot holes.
okay. After rewatching it, I did notice a few details I had previously overlooked. But the first one that came to mind, which is honestly one of the biggest complaints I have had, as much as I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, how can Splinter learn, master, and therefore teach the art of ninjutsu? And this is straight up true ninjutsu. When in this movie, he was a normal rat when his master Yoshi was practicing. He would not be able to mimic the moves and learn them at that point. Even though rats are intelligent, he would not be able to retain enough and have enough of it to do it.
Retain and access are 2 different things, my friend. This reminds me of a book called Flowers for Algernon.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the book.
All
Go
right.
on.
This guy is basically Forrest Gump, functionally retarded.
Okay.
Okay? He goes into a medical experiment. He gets really, really smart. He has access to all this information he never had before. Because he had the information in his head. He had heard it, seen it, read it, learned it, but didn't have access to it in his mind.
Okay.
So that when he did become smart, or the ability to access it, he became very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Much like Splinter, he watched his master do every kata, every single one, over and over and over, years of rat
So
servitude.
the knowledge was there, but as a rat, he couldn't use it or didn't even know what he was
He
seeing.
didn't even know what he had. It
But
just
after
took
the
up stuff.
mutation,
It allowed him
the
to
knowledge-
access the parts of his brain
and
to
then he
remember
would-
his full life.
he would train himself to do it, and then okay, that actually makes sense. I still think though that the cartoon from the '90s, as silly as it was, made the most sense in this department because
if
that was Yoshi himself who got mutated into Splinter.
That almost makes as much sense. Even the Michael Bay one had a better explanation. The rat found a book on ninjutsu
Okay,
that listed the katas.
you're telling me
Yep.
that a rat in New York
After it was mutated.
found a true ninjutsu handbook, like how to ninjutsu.
No, not a true. It's something you get from Barnes and Noble, but it had the katas listed in there.
So
he taught himself.
All right, well,
and then taught his
let me
kids.
ask you this then: you did actually practice ninjutsu at one point in your life, correct?
At some point, yeah, I
right.
I only got up into a higher belt level, a minute or
okay.
2, yeah.
All right. So, well, I mean that you practiced for some time.
Yeah.
You may not practice now, but you did. So, could a book like that actually exist enough for someone to develop ninjutsu?
Yes. Here's the thing. Every martial art, I
Mm-hmm.
don't care if it's Bruce Lee's Aikido, I don't care if it is the world's
Jeet Kune
oldest
Do.
Kung Fu. Okay? every martial arts is like you learn a series of dances. Those are your katas.
Yeah, your
There's
style. It's
18
basically
dances
it's a
for
style of how to punch and kick and move your body.
No, it's basically not even that. It's this is a fight. Practice it. Here's another fight. Practice it. Here's a dance. Practice it. Okay? So you learn all the dances and then you learn to mix the moves up. It isn't
Okay.
so like once you're a black belt, you actually learn how to, dance around, freestyle.
Okay.
Which
so,
is why so many times you'll see in competitions, you'll see the same fight over and over because it's the same kata versus the same kata over and over again.
Yeah, that's true.
Till the first person screws up.
Okay, well then that does make sense. I was actually hoping.
So I mean, it's possible.
Okay, I was hoping you'd
There's
clarify
no one to
that.
correct the rat when he makes a mistake.
So the rat
or
would have to.
teaches a mistake.
So
You have to
Splinter
do it
would have to learn
perfectly.
himself and
Yeah.
trial and error.
And anyone who's ever tried to put IKEA together via furniture, like IKEA furniture together via written instructions and pictures, knows mistakes are made.
Yes, they are. Okay, well, what's your major plot hole?
Oh, mine is okay. If Shredder had just killed Splinter at the base while he's hanging from the chains, don't keep him alive. Don't question him. He's a giant rat. It's New York. It's not even a crime.
I was actually hoping you'd make a joke about that.
Yeah, it's not even murder at this point. It's, rodent disposal. I think they give you money for that. Just kills it. All right? Then fast forward to the scene on the rooftop where he's got Leo under his foot. He's got the pointed staff
The javelin,
right
I
at
think,
him.
or something. Yeah,
It's a pointed
a spear,
staff.
but yeah.
He didn't throw it. It's a staff.
Okay,
And
pointed
it's
staff.
pointed.
All right.
He's getting ready to kill Leo. Their fate is yours.
Yeah.
About to stab him through the throat. Oh wait, he killed Splinter an hour ago, in movie time.
Yeah, they would have been down with Turtle.
Leo's dead. Raph's now yelling Leo when all of a sudden the pointed staff becomes a spear, goes through Raph's throat while he's screaming to the heavens.
And then Donnie and Mike are child's play for the
Are
Shredder.
jokes.
Yeah.
They're jokes.
Okay, I will. A side note. They did a great job making Shredder a badass in this movie. Even though he had an anticlimactic death, he was still a complete badass, and I love that because I grew up on the '90s cartoon, and seeing Shredder like that was incredible.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly that this was one of the scariest versions of the Shredder you're ever gonna see.
Okay, but back to your point. If he had killed Splinter when he had captured him, the rest of the movie would not have played out the way it did.
No, nothing would have changed.
Nothing would have changed. Well, then it's not
All right,
really a
the only thing-
plot killer.
No, I mean, the Turtles wouldn't have succeeded in defeating the Shredder. It's
So,
basically the
yeah,
only thing
okay.
that would have changed.
So it would have changed the ending.
Yeah, just the end of the movie. Because think about it. The kid finds... how long did Shredder have Splinter? And that's a hard sentence for me to say, because...
They were at the farmhouse for a couple of days at least.
Well, no, I mean, in the movie, time frame, hour and a half movie.
It was an hour and a half.
At least an hour of that movie, he's locked to a
Yeah,
chain link.
they only had Splinter for like 30
Okay.
minutes.
Yeah, they had no idea where he was. Him being alive or dead made literally no difference other than, okay, we're ready to go back to the city.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, heck, you could even made that whole scene with the Splinter's spirit in the fire. Could have been him from the afterlife.
Force. Yeah, welcome to the Force.
Yeah, just saying, believe in yourselves, my sons. And then, Splinter could have been... The only point where Splinter being alive makes a difference is at the end of this movie and near the end fight in the second movie, where he interferes again to help his sons.
Yeah, because he keeps interfering. If Splinter had killed him in the first movie,
He
he'd have
steps in
succeeded.
because he knows that they're not true masters yet. He keeps an eye on his students. They're still learning. They're
Except
good.
for, when Leo finally meditates to get a hold of Splinter,
Yeah.
Your
Well, no.
training's complete.
He's ascended. He's still learning. Because it's like this. Splinter's like the Jedi Master. They're Jedi Knights. They're not Padawans. They're Knights. They can hold their own. They know a lot. They could teach. But they're not at the level of being the top dogs. But I still don't think that your point really kills the majority of the movie enough to call it a plot killer or a major
I guess
plot
I
hole.
should have saved that for the next movie, huh? I'll write that down.
Okay.
It just killed him at the end of in
Right.
the middle of the first. Well, I mean, no. Honestly, they never would have left the farm because they never would have felt ready to go back.
They've probably been there longer. Yeah, it would
And
have.
they would have just eventually gotten killed.
It would-
Everyone would have died.
Yeah, it would change a lot of the rest of the movie. I do have another point that actually potentially can kill the entire movie, and is why did Shredder, Oroku Saki, remain in New York after killing Yoshi? Why not return to its criminal empire after this personal job of getting back for her being gone? And it's actually, or if it's gone, why was it disbanded?
Okay. I have an answer.
All right.
In Japan, the Foot Clan, the whole thing,
Yes.
it's still very powerful. It's probably still a big thing in Japan.
Possibly.
In the movie series. All right?
We don't know that for certain, but
Okay?
possibly.
Now, would you rather own the 27th McDonald's in California or the first McDonald's in New York?
Okay. I get your face franchising out.
He's and he's doing a very good job.
Okay. So you're saying that there's a chance that he actually went to America to branch out their empire while getting a personal job done? Or do you think that he struck off on his own from his original organization?
I think it was more of he got there to kill Yoshi.
Yes.
Went to go, get the approval from the local guys, realized there weren't local guys.
And could you just do it?
Sent a letter back saying, hey, I'm going to stay, maybe start up a little extra business on the side for you guys.
Yeah.
And then killed Yoshi, or even killed Yoshi before then and realized, hey, there's nobody here to stop me. There's no ninjas here. There's no shoguns, there's no samurais, there's no ronin, nothing.
I hope not at this point. But, Yoshi and Orokusaki were actually Shadow Warriors. Now, you're a little more familiar with the realistic culture over there, not just...
Yeah, they're
I'm
not
more,
called Shadow
I'm
Warriors.
more familiar with the anime aspects.
They don't wear the black hoods and everything.
Yeah.
They look like... In fact, the outfit being worn by Yoshi when he died would be more tantamount to a ninja.
Well, because he was a construction worker, he was blending in.
Exactly.
You blend.
Blend the hell in.
There's actually a manga I read where there was a character who was trying to impersonate ninjas, and she was good, but she came across a real ninja. He looked like a normal guy. He's like, you're a poser.
Yeah.
You don't look like that. We
See,
blend.
in true ninja history,
and then beat her down.
A lot of them, like, if you were posing as a musician, you were a virtuoso on the,
You learned your
instrument
art.
you pretended to play.
Well,
you actually knew how to play it.
Well, that's the whole point of infiltration, is that you learn non-lethal skills so that way you can infiltrate and blend.
Yeah.
Like
it was usually a skill that would allow a commoner into a palace, such as music, art, multimedia.
Well, there was like a series I watched where they had a team of assassins who they were required to learn a musical instrument. For one, it would conceal their weapons in the case. And two, if anyone asks, well, I just have my violin, and no one would be the wiser. So I can kind of see that. But back to this movie and this point. When I was looking over this point, and I still think it's kind of a maybe here, is that it was mentioned, and I never noticed before, that Yoshi was actually a Shadow Warrior as well. Could it be that maybe he helped disband the Foot Clan over in Japan? Or maybe stopped it, and then that's one of the reasons he left? Besides the woman they both loved. Because that's what Splinter says is what happened.
Yeah, but what does Rat know? Well, I mean, he's got full access to every memory he's ever had because before he became
of what he's observed and what he has known when he was at home. Because it's not like Yoshi walked around with Splinter on his shoulder all the time. He may have at times. Because Splinter obviously
in
knew.
Japan, I can see it, but in America, they might have a couple of issues.
But he knew that he was a Shadow Warrior, and that's pretty much all we get about Yoshi. So is there a chance that Yoshi actually disrupted the Foot? Maybe why Shredder came over here and stayed? Because I still see it as, all right, I get back, I kill him, I kill her, my personal debt is done. I get your point of, well, I can branch out here, but then they don't have complete control over here. Would you really do that, or would you not go back? Especially if he's not at the high end of the totem pole, would he be required to come back?
Well, you see,
because if he's not here, the whole movie does nothing happens. Okay. Except Vigilante Turtles.
You see, there's three ways I see this.
If that.
Okay, and personally, and I'm gonna go over it in all three ways.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is he went for revenge.
Yes.
Because dude stole a woman he wanted, and that's his, and he takes what he wants.
Yeah.
His opponent ran away. He was dishonored for for his opponent just fleeing and him allowing him to flee, and he got kicked out of the clan, or whatever his ninja group was, because they never called themselves the Foot in Japan, I'm sure.
Yeah, the immigrants who told April, gave her lead, said there was a similar incident in Japan.
Yeah, which is not the Hand from Daredevil. Wink.
Wink.
But so he got kicked out of his group, or And honestly, I could see that happening. It was like, oh, dude, you've been dishonored, dude. He just ran away. You weren't even worth fighting for him. Like, he literally just walked away from you. He dropped the mic and left.
Okay, so you're saying that he could have been, when Yoshi fled, and since Orokosaki could not get his full, I guess, fight, like he probably challenged him and he said no.
Well, yeah.
He was
They were
dishonored
supposed
and
to fight for that girl.
and thrown out, which would be further reason why he would have killed him in America, because not only did you take the woman I love, but you got me
And
kicked
then
out.
he would have to find the finances, so he started up a little home business.
Okay.
Okay.
Well then, heck, I don't have a movie killing plot at the current moment. Can you think of any you want to go into?
Movie killing? I got one.
All right.
Minor one that could be, to me, a movie killer.
Okay. Well, what
Which
do you got?
is, okay. An entire police force. Every single, well, one reporter at least.
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
And a rat couldn't do one thing that only Casey Jones could do. Find those kids' base. There are thousands of kids running around stealing crap, snatching things. Casey Jones is the only one who goes, screw it, I'll just follow him.
Okay.
Gets to the base,
Yeah.
takes out the freaking leader.
Yeah. All right. To be fair, Casey Jones is being a vigilante
Okay.
in the city for, obviously it's implied for some time. The Turtles, the beginning of the movie, when they came out and saved April, was the first time they came out of the sewers and did something.
Okay.
Obviously they've infiltrated, hence like Raph going to movies and stuff. But it's the first time they went out and actually fought. They weren't really aware of the foot. In fact, you probably even know that what happened to Rokosaki until you realize that band you're wearing his mark. But
I think Splinter knew.
well, he put two and two together pretty quick.
When
He's
they
the smartest.
attacked him and they were
Yeah.
all wearing the same
But
headband.
they go out. He saves April. They take her back home. Splinter's taken. So the second time as a group they went out, they got trashed. So whoa. So they weren't even thinking about infiltrating, looking, and even though Raphael wanted to, he's always the one to propose this in all the movies.
Yeah, he's the fighter.
Why are we sitting
He's your
around
brawler.
here and talking? Let's get stuff done. He's the doer out of the four.
It's the brawler, yeah.
So I will give Raph that. He, like in the second movie, he wanted to do the same
Well, the
thing.
thing is, I mean, at least in the comic books,
But you are right.
he was also the first to get his ass kicked because
Yeah.
he was the one who was always headstrong to run into the fight.
But you are correct. The police weren't. They know what to do because they had no idea it was this organized. They were
And
just.
look,
they
there's
were
one
baffled.
of those kids. Well,
And you gotta give.
they knew because
Yeah.
they tried to cover it up.
We gotta give Police Chief Stern this. When the reporters were asking, he gave that very grandiose speech.
I can't prove anything, but we know stuff's happening.
Yeah, but the way he said it was actually pretty impressive.
Oh yeah,
It wasn't until April called him out, and
we're
he's like,
restructuring grid
a
patterns.
decentralized.
Yeah, to decentralize foot patrols. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. He gave he gave a line of BS that actually made sense if you think about it, but it doesn't. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna move these cars so there's no central location. They're all kind of
Yeah.
spread out. But
Now, granted, if you remember what April reported on, the few eyewitness accounts were just some teenage boys here and there, and they were small items. Like even when people in the movie were seeing them getting burglarized, the one woman who gets her TV off the her fire
Yeah.
escape,
that was
she's
a Foot
boy.
Clan. That was not.
No,
teenagers.
well, yeah, but she saw the boy run. That was it, and they might have done that on purpose to keep the scent off of a more grander organization.
Yeah, because I want to know what a ninja needs with a TV.
Merchandise that they were selling and
Were they? Because they
Flip
seemed
it.
like they were keeping everything.
They
They had
kept-
cigarettes, video.
they kept what they wanted to keep. Because remember, the whole point of Shredder's Planet is to indoctrinate the kids. First, you got to bring them in, show them, hey, it's your personal clubhouse. We're going
Yeah.
to sell some of the stuff, but we'll let you keep the best stuff. So
alright.
they were still moving product. It was just, oh hey, I like these headphones. I'll get to keep them. That's my cut, and move on. But Casey Jones did go investigate, and there's a chance that in the plot he could have just found these kids hiding out here and not even being the Foot Clan. So
Okay.
I do agree though. He was the only one who thought to do it and actually did it.
Now, one of the things like that this movie got completely wrong, and this does not stem from any ninja training.
Okay.
This stems from having lived in New York City,
Okay.
seen New York City.
Yeah, you've
Let's
lived
just say
there. You've
seen
been
New
there.
York City.
You've
Okay?
lived. Yeah.
We'll make it easy as that. Okay. The scene where Raph's getting his ass kicked on the rooftop.
Yes.
Okay? Casey Jones is just sitting on the roof with binoculars.
Listen to
food,
police radio.
And he's
we
just watching Raph get his ass kicked. He's the only person
on the
in
rooftop.
all of the city that you can see for miles
On a rooftop.
on a rooftop, or looking out his window, or peeking at this building that is clearly lower than the building surrounding it.
Yeah, and from what I've seen of different, like,
Would you look at that?
specials into New York, that there's usually people up there sometimes have a garden. People will just up
Yeah.
there and just chill. So you are correct. There's been more
Great
people on the
place to
roofs.
smoke.
Maybe
And
it
in
was
nice
a neighborhood.
weather like that, yeah, you open up the windows, you get on the fire escape, you relax a little bit. I mean, it's obviously not winter.
Yeah. Now, could it have been just the neighborhood they were in?
All right, no.
I'm just asking.
The answer.
You gotta remember.
The answer.
I've never been.
All right, I'll tell you. The answer is no.
Okay.
It's not the neighborhood. One other person would have had to have seen that.
At least.
At least one.
Well, that
would
might-
have had to have been out and go. Is that a giant turtle fighting a bunch of guys in ski masks? I gotta get off the LSD.
Well, I mean, that's why the fire department and police got there as soon as the fire broke out. I mean, because they were there almost within
Oh yeah!
moments.
As soon as the fire broke out,
They were there.
You know, after the turtle goes through the window, after they chop through the floor and fall to the next floor. Multiple fights with size, a nunchuck dueling banjo
chuck-off,
scenario,
which was pretty cool. Yeah.
You know, they hear the sirens and go, "Ninjas, go!"
Yeah.
I'll stay here. What? You're not a ninja? No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There were some scenes that the areas were a bit more barren of people than they should have been. I agree.
I still say
That's more of a small point, but here's some. Maybe we'll work with some minor plot holes, see if we can find something a bit bigger. Something I noticed, I think that I talked to you prior at one point about this, but the turtles. All right, Raphael and Leo had swords. Those are lethal weapons.
Had some swords.
Size can be used lethally, correct?
They can, anything can be used lethally.
But easier than nunchucks or a staff, right?
No. The staff to me is probably the second most lethal weapon under the sword.
Okay.
Because it keeps you at a distance. You can get a good amount of centrifugal force.
Mm-hmm.
Which means
Crack
you
some
can crack
skulls
some
and stuff.
skulls, break
Okay.
vertebrae,
Okay.
jab straight into the throat.
Well, then that means each of the turtles had a weapon that they mastered and they could use it lethally, correct?
Yes, all those weapons were lethal weapons, yes. And outlawed in the state of New York at some point in time.
Why weren't they being more lethal? I mean, they're ninjas. They're supposed to be go in, take care of the guys, and bam. I understand the kids that were jumping April, they just tied up.
I'm telling
and
you
stopped.
right now, the reason for that is to keep their rating to get kids to see a movie. To be perfectly honest, because
I mean,
like
that was
I said,
still a
I was
different
talking
time,
about this
but-
earlier. In the comic books, not only were they lethal, they were gory.
But that's the original comics, right?
Yeah,
the black and white.
The black and white, which
Yeah.
was the original comic, which this is all that movie was based off of, because I think this predates the cartoon show.
What time? When did the cartoon
This movie
show
came
there?
out in 1990. I believe the cartoon show came out in like 92, 93 after the movie got popular. Like, oh crap.
Well, I think the cartoons were to sell action figures, but I'm pretty sure I remember watching the cartoon. And that's why I went and saw the movie. I don't know. I could be mistaken. We could look that up.
Yeah.
But
You have that device there on your leg.
yeah. But okay.
But, yeah.
So all right,
I've got a whole list.
So that was more to just to keep the ratings. Okay, I can get that, and
Yeah.
also keep it kid friendly. I can live with that. That's
Yeah,
fine.
Like they had lethal weapons that they were using non-lethally, but you know what the thing is true control is knowing that you could, but won't. They could just be enacting self-control. I'm so good with my weapon that if I just decided to kill you, this wouldn't even be a fight. Because you may have noticed in the rooftop fight scene, that's the first, and any rooftop fight scene in this movie, you get to a scene where turtles are fighting somebody on a rooftop.
Oh wow. So that series that we grew up on,
Yeah.
started in '87.
Okay, so this is before the movie then, because this movie didn't come out till 1990.
No,
I think.
the movie came out during the series. So the movie was influenced by the cartoon. That's why they kept it kid friendly. Okay, I can agree
right.
with that.
Yeah, they knew kids were gonna watch it. Knew they couldn't be condoning that. Because,
Now, you can confirm this because, like I said, you pointed out you've lived in New York, you've been there, you know more about than I do. The tunnel system and sewer system, is it large enough?
never been in there. I can honestly tell you, you want to get arrested quicker or die quicker than anybody in the world, go ahead and try to climb into a subway tunnel.
Well, not the subway tunnel. I meant the sewer system.
No, never been there either.
Okay, I'm saying, but
surprisingly, a highly duck-populated, dense community like that,
you don't want to go in
imagine
there.
what the sewer
Well,
smells and looks
and
like.
that's the point I wanted to make was that I did do a little reading. I thought maybe you could
I
confirm.
can tell you that the manhole covers are not that size.
Okay, so they're
They
smaller.
are not turtle size. They're human size.
Okay.
Those turtles would have gone clink.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Okay, so I did do a little research. But I wasn't sure how accurate it was. So we'll just say that the tunnels really are big enough that they could move around in.
Okay, there's a magical, humongous
Now,
tunnel.
how they get out, a different story, but still. How do the turtles deal with germs and feces in the water? Because like you said, and even if you look in the scenes, those brick tunnels have smudges of something. We don't want to...
All right, I'm going to tell you at one point in time, I read this medical article. And I know I keep having to reference real life things here, so this is scary, but...
Yeah.
Crocodiles are immune to the AIDS virus.
Okay, and... Alright, so
turtles...
Okay, animals
might
do adapt.
not get diphtheria.
Animals adapt better than us do, because they have to.
Yeah.
All right.
And they grew up in the sewer, so they would have built up those immunities with the ooze, maybe?
And I get that, and that's fine. But they're supposed to be ninjas, right? They would still smell. It's going to be really hard to be very stealthy without that sewer stench just constantly
Well, you ever
in the
notice
area.
they're not in places a long period of time to where anybody go, wow, it really, really stinks here.
They
It's more
slept
like,
overnight at April's.
Yeah, her house would have stank, but then again, I mean, did she look like the cleanest person in the world?
Actually, for the most part, yeah, her
She had
apartment
an
was pretty
unsightly
clean.
tub ring.
It was unsightly tub ring, but still.
She even mentioned it. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, I mean, that to me, that's minor. It's kind of difficult to be so stealthy when you reach the
You
sewer.
brought this up about their lethal weapons.
Okay.
I want to know where the hell they got said lethal weapons in a state where most of these weapons actually were illegal.
Okay, yep, and that was actually something I was going to mention too, how they forged the weapons or created them. The staff isn't so hard to get figured out.
Yeah, it's a stand.
The size and the swords are the hard part, while the nunchucks are still relatively easy.
Yeah, a string and two sticks.
It does show in the CGI movie, the fourth one of the series, that Leo, his swords get broken. And while they're recuperating, he reforges his own swords, meaning they were taught to make their own weapons.
Where
now,
did they find that book?
that's a great question, and that's one that's not answered. The point is, that movie confirms they have the knowledge and skills to do so. So we have to assume that part of their training, much like a Jedi making their own lightsaber, they had to create their own weapons that they were going to use. But then again, why didn't Raph just forge a new Sai when he lost his one? Which means more or less tries to tell me that that was a retcon in this movie, that they got those from somewhere. And it's hard to find practical katanas of that caliber, especially in New York. Because, sure, you can find showman swords anywhere, but those things will break on one swing. Especially at the
We've
flea
been to
market.
enough cons to know that.
Yeah. If you're buying a $30 katana, it's going to break. A $300 katana,
It's gonna break.
Well, no, it depends on how it's forged.
A katana in traditional Japanese style? No,
No,
it's gonna break.
Yeah. But no, there's a new style with like carbon, I forgot what it's
Trust
called.
me,
But
as-
there's a new way to make it where it's just as strong, if not stronger, than the traditional style. But you guys spend
You can say
hundreds.
that all you like.
Yeah.
If you want a sword that's not gonna break, go to Japan and spend yourself about $5,000.
The
You'll get a
point
sword
is-
that won't break.
The point is, with the new techniques, you guys spend at least a couple $100s to a couple $1,000s to get a sword that's practical use. And even then, you still have to know how to maintain the sword so it doesn't break after so many uses.
Okay, yeah.
The point being, though, that we're on is, how did they get these weapons?
All right, I have the answer.
You got an
Not
idea?
gonna like it, but
All
I
right, well-
imagine at some point Yoshi had to make some weapons.
Yeah.
Part of his training.
Steel.
Splinter was there. He was just gonna leave him out in the house. Could bring him out to the barn and have him watch him make the weapons.
Okay, so Splinter would observe the crafting of weapons.
Yeah.
Or maybe they learned that future on. But either way, you're saying that maybe those weapons were Yoshi's weapons.
No, he just learned. He watched Yoshi make weapons, so now he knows how to make the weapons.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's
Yeah.
It's the only acceptable one.
I can
mean,
accept
with
that.
full- full
With
recollection
the
like
with
that.
the retcon, I can go with that then.
Yeah.
All right. So okay. Well, that's
Here's another huge one of those things that doesn't make sense to me. It's
All
one
right.
of those New York things again.
okay.
Okay. April O'Neil manages to do the news report at City Hall, I imagine, or at
Yeah.
least the police station, right?
Yes.
Okay. I accept that she, She's one of maybe 5 reporters who manages to talk to the police commissioner during a time of high crime in the middle of New York City. That's fine. 5 reporters. Okay, 5 got the scoop. Then she makes it to the completely empty subway platform right in front of the police city hall. That's not ever gonna happen in daylight hours.
That is true, but maybe the Foot set up a meeting by blocking off people not in the full garb, but oh hey, we're working on it, you can't use the subway after.
Once again, you've never been to New York. You know how fast that guy'd get knocked on that ninja would get knocked on his ass.
Well, I mean, if they dressed as like construction workers,
that's fine.
If they somehow got her to get through without her realizing, but kept everyone else at bay, it's possible. Unlikely, and I agree, because I've seen how busy it can get from other cities and watching, movies, TV, documentaries, and what you've told me. So I understand that that's very unlikely. But is it plausible? I think it is.
I don't think it's plausible. Because there's a term for people who try to keep people off the subway that New Yorkers have developed. Fuck you. Get out of my way. It's a lovely term.
Right,
it's all purpose, too. It works for anybody in your way at all.
Okay, so this actually builds upon the rooftop scene. Essentially,
they would have had to build an entire fake construction set in front of that subway system to keep people off. And then somehow magically move it so April walks up, yet no one else is around waiting to get through.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so this kind of builds upon the fact that some of the scenes were too empty and therefore implausible. Well, improbable.
To me it was just like a lot of these scenes like, wait, so you live in a New York City where the Foot have killed 3/4 of the population?
It looks like it, right? Okay, I got one about, and this is like New York related. Now I know New York prides itself on its pizza, right? Now I assume Domino's paid for their spot in the movie.
They paid huge.
All right, but that joke aside, the turtles eat primarily pizza, right?
They would have eaten Ray's.
They go to that same spot, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's say they do shop around, so no one really, they don't call the same place.
And I just want to state that I think that they change their hideout every so often, and that's why the pizza guy doesn't know where to deliver.
You mean where they meet up? Because I was going to say, of all the times they've called up, how would someone not know? Oh, 122 and 8, that's going to be the drainage. What? Yeah. And which leads me to another point is, well, wait, there's someone living in the sewer. And like you said, that's a no-no. Wouldn't the city be called to investigate?
No. The subway. You don't ever go to the subway. If you want to be a gross motherfucker who lives in the sewer, that's your call, dude.
Oh, so city wouldn't actually, if they were called up, they wouldn't, they'd be like, yeah, we'll look into it. Click.
All right, let me ask you something. As a pizza guy, if you had to deliver, you were a pizza delivery guy, right?
Yes, I was.
All right.
Multiple times.
You ever, if you had been called and had to deliver a pizza under a bridge.
I had not, because there's not really many bridges.
Homeless, all right,
but still, I get the point.
You got overpass.
Yeah.
All right. Guy, blanket, living in a box, hands out your $10, puts his hand out for the pizza. Gonna say no and then call the police?
No, if it's where I was supposed to deliver and he has the money, then it is. But I'm just saying, but that's... I get it. I get it.
For all he thought, it was a homeless guy.
Okay.
Ordering a pizza, living in the sewers.
Okay, all right. I got that.
It's not unlikely.
But here's the other question then. Where'd they get the money from?
They're ninjas.
Remember, they really haven't
They're ninjas, dude.
Okay. So they stole.
Pickpocket.
They stole when they had to.
All right. They sold. They sold a massive array of weaponry. Their home security system. Their old masks. I don't know.
Something, right?
How did Raph get the money to go see the movie?
That's what I was asking. Okay, and we kind of talked about...
You know what they do? Every time they stop a crime, they rob the guy they beat the crap out of committing the crime. Mm-hmm. And that's how they got the money.
Okay.
Acceptable robbery.
All right. Well, before I go on more on myself, you got... No.
All right, well, dude, you can see right here. I got stuff to talk about.
Well, what's your next point?
All right. After April O'Neil gets knocked out, Raph takes her back to the hideout. Why didn't he just put her on that subway that was clearly pulling up after the fight ended? He took out all of the foot soldiers in the subway, on the subway platform, saving April O'Neil's ass and picking up his side. You see a train car pull up. Just put her on the train, dude. You didn't have to bring her back to your hideout.
Honestly, you could say that he was concerned to make sure she was going to get home okay.
Then he should have taken her to her
However,
house.
I also look at it as, look at the title of the movie. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, which
Teenage.
word?
Now, remember,
Oh, it's a girl.
their first encounter when they saved April was their first time out as a group.
Yeah.
Being now, they might have gone out here and there, but for the most part, they went out. And like even Mike said, can we keep her? It might have been some of those hormones saying, hey, I want to make sure she's okay, and maybe she might like this.
I can accept making sure she was okay with that. I would have just pulled a fire alarm. You are out front of police headquarters.
Yeah, you would think. I agree. Okay, so in this movie, and I love for the news channel taking notes on this, the news networks were actually journalists. They actually did news report. They don't do what they do nowadays. These were actual true stories. Investigative journalism,
yes.
which we don't see anymore. And for our younger viewers, that's used to be a thing,
Which
actually.
should be all the more surprising why you only have 5 people talking to the police chief.
But the question I have is, okay, we can assume that Casey Jones was a vigilante a little longer than the Turtles. That was a routine he was doing. He went out, he looked, he got some.
Yeah, but he was at a much lower level.
Maybe, but still, reports of a vigilante should come up with this kind of news, right?
Probably not.
You don't think so?
No, because here's the thing. Who's going to report it?
The thugs. When
Really?
they get picked up at the hospital, what happened? They're going to say nothing?
No.
Remember, these were
No.
young kids.
No, you got to remember. The idea is I didn't see anything, I didn't hear anything, I don't fucking know anything. Because the first thing they're going to ask the guy is what happened. It's like, oh, I got my ass kicked. What were you doing? Oh, it's robbing people.
Yeah, fair
In the middle
enough.
of Central Park at middle of the night. Oh,
Fair enough.
you're under arrest. So they're not going to report it. What happened to you? I fell down some fucking stairs. That's all that happened. Have a nice day.
Okay, all right.
Fuck you, get out of my way.
Fair enough. I'd go with that.
Once again, next movie for Casey Jones, John Barrowman. Right?
John Barron's
I threw it in there.
Yes, you do.
I got you. Okay. There's all right. Here's one that I thought was peculiar.
Okay.
Okay, in order to train, when training in a martial arts, you do pick one precise weapon,
Yeah.
but you train with every weapon.
Yeah. You
At
master
least,
one
at least
and
a basic kata or two.
you're proficient in everything else, but you master one at least.
Yeah. So when Raph gets his size thrown off the roof,
Yes.
which he magically got back somehow.
Of course, magic, you know.
But I figured that one out. I'll get to it in a second. He's surrounded by knocked out ninjas, all with weapons. Just reach down and pick one up there. I think he could have evened the odds against the oncoming ninjas.
Yeah, you know, and that might have
Then
been
maybe he wouldn't have gotten through and through.
that might have been the cartoon series influence, because remember, a lot of times in that show they very rarely pulled their weapons out. It was more they just kicked some butt.
Well, this seemed very heavy centric, especially
Yeah.
on Raph's weapon. Who he's like, I can go get it back.
Yeah, and I agree.
No, it's gone.
I agree, and this happens a lot in movies where you'll have characters who there's a weapon right there. Just pick it up and use it.
Yeah,
Even if you use it for a moment and you can just switch weapon, you could still do that.
yeah. I
But-
agree.
It might have been his pride because he was blowing off steam. I don't know, but I agree. He could have been smarter about that fight. And they still could have sworn him and still could have knocked him out, and you still could have the movie proceed. But they could have done it, I think, a little more attention to detail there.
Well, we covered that one.
Yeah. Now,
but
on Casey
I have
Jones.
the answer to this one.
Okay, you got to answer that one. But you
Oh,
did
yeah.
say that, the other point. So go ahead.
How did he get his size back? Casey brought him.
Casey grabbed him?
Yeah, he saw him get thrown off the roof. He didn't jump rooftop to
And when
fucking
the
rooftop to get over there.
And when it collapsed in, he might have been getting ready to get out there and notice. Well, no, he jumped in. So there was no scene show him grabbing him. But the other turtles
but he
could
didn't
have.
go from rooftop to fucking rooftop.
No.
No, he had to go downstairs, run all the way across, see him on the street, pick him up, climb to the other roof.
Well, he came in through the door. Actually, the antique store.
Okay, well then, yeah, he would have been ground level. He would have walked past the sides, picked
The
them
roof,
up.
the sides were on the roof.
No, they threw them off the roof.
No, it just went over a ventilation pipe. They were still on the roof.
No, they were off the roof.
They were off the roof?
I think that they threw them off the lip that is the edge of the roof.
Okay, well, actually, that works for that way. And if it was still on the roof when it collapsed in, one of the turtles may have grabbed them. So either way, the size
Yeah,
being there can work.
Okay.
Either way, I think they
All
would.
right.
But speaking of Casey Jones, and this is something that, you know, when we were talking about this movie prior, and I kind of thought about too, was that he's the only one that really kills in the movie, correct? Or at least
Casey
attempts.
Jones?
Yes.
Yes, he's the other than
The fact that Shredder
the death of
survived
Yoshi.
is a whole different point, but yeah.
other than the death of Yoshi, which was flashback.
And his wife.
Yeah, okay, I guess. I have no proof she actually died.
No, it was
so
stated that she was dead.
prove it.
Second flashback.
I want to see
To Danny.
I want to see the 5th movie
Okay.
where it turns out that Oroku Saki had a daughter, Talon.
I should in the cartoons. Anyways, but
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, he completely murders Shredder for,
Well,
I guess, no reason.
he tries.
Well, he assumes he did.
Yeah.
He's completely okay with it.
Yeah. Remember he said, oops, and
Yeah,
pulled
and
the
then he
lever.
pulls the thing, and it crushes Shredder's armor.
Now, my question is, did that imply that as a vigilante, Casey Jones had no problem killing these punks? Because granted, he was ready to swing down those hockey sticks and break some bones.
And, you know, the worst part about it is that the Foot showed no intent to murder anyone. Ever.
Yeah, because they were mainly teenage boys who just wanted to they were just
Yeah.
stealing.
No matter what scene you're in, there's never an attempt to murder.
They might maim, harm, but never murder. You're correct, and I agree with
Yeah.
that. Because even April was given a warning, not killed outright.
Yeah,
Just,
they reached in, they slapped her, and then when she started fighting back, things got more aggressive.
and even then, they still had no intent to kill her. It was more, look, shut it.
Yeah,
This is
they
your-
slapped
this
her.
is your
she
chance.
pulled a weapon, I believe. And
She
then
pulled
they're
aside,
like,
they
oh,
joked,
okay,
they knocked
yeah,
it,
now we're gonna
and then she
beat her.
used her purse, and they just knocked her down anyways.
Yeah. But still, I mean, they had no intent of killing anybody. Seems to me that Casey Jones is taking things a little out of hand.
So is that something he normally does? Is a question.
And, you know, for those of you who may be bringing up, well, Shredder threatened Leo, how did Casey Jones see that? He was still ground level.
Yeah. Shredder would have killed. Shredder's a proven killer already in the
But
movie.
Casey Jones never had one face-to-face interaction with Shredder in his entire life.
Yep. And during the present day time, Shredder was never shown to kill. Only in the past, when he killed Yoshi and his wife,
Yeah.
did he kill. He was never shown to kill. So the only one to kill in the present time of the movie, or attempted to kill, was Casey Jones. So the question
rat
is,
bastard.
since he was so quick and easy to do that, and nonchalantly about it too, does that mean the thugs that he beats down, did he actually go too far with some thugs?
Yeah, maybe that's why you never had any police reports of a vigilante. They were too busy pulling cricket splinters out of their gaping head wounds.
I don't know.
That-
I mean, I'm just more of a
Do you
question.
notice-
What do you think?
Here's something else that I noticed about Casey Jones' fighting style, though.
Yeah.
It's an uppercut swing.
A lot of it, yeah. A lot of it's over, upper.
Well, let me ask something. How do you defeat Raph?
How do you defeat Raph?
Yeah. What move did he do? Took a cricket bat, uppercut swing.
Yeah, but Raph wasn't really using his
How did
weapons.
he defeat the bald guy?
Oh, yeah, he used a golf club. He actually came into the belly, knocked
And
the wind out of it, and then
An uppercut swing.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that as long as you can dodge an uppercut swing, Casey Jones can actually beat you.
Well, from his few fight scenes, well, he does that is one of his where
That's his signature.
That's where his power hit. And granted, he played professional in hockey. That makes some bit of sense. Like having that
Yeah.
upper. He does show that the spin around
slap shot,
and it
yeah.
use range with his sports weapons, which
Yeah.
makes sense. He doesn't mind using two bats and having that mid to somewhat of a reach
Yeah.
type range. So that's the type of fighter he is. He's a weapon user, a melee weapon user, non-lethal, but melee
Well,
weapon
not
user.
that we know.
Well, his arsenal didn't include a lethal weapon, but doesn't mean you can't use those as a lethal weapon.
well, all right.
Because he said a
all
staff can be a lethal weapon.
Well, I mean, I bring to you this argument as concealed carry holder.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm asking you to just think in the mind of your concealed carry, okay?
Okay.
If I come up to you with a bat and I say I'm gonna cave your head in and I rear that bat back, are you gonna go, oh well, that's not a lethal weapon, I better not pull?
No, that's the threat of my life, and I'm therefore in Florida authorized to use lethal force to protect myself because I feel endangered
In danger of what?
of my life, regardless of what the weapon they have.
I mean, so a paper airplane?
Honestly, with the way the Florida law is written, if your life is
yeah,
threatened,
you easily
you are
fit-
allowed to. Because in the case,
Because it's considered a force felony.
because in the case of the bat itself may not be the lethal blow, but if he knocks me out and takes my gun, now my life is in danger.
See, I see it the other way.
I'm just saying how
he's
the
gonna
courts could
cave
argue
my
it.
head in with this
Yeah,
bat.
I mean that too. I mean, I haven't caught up on The Walking Dead, but I know Negan. But still,
Oh, no spoilers. Oh no
I was-
other show spoilers.
I was
right now.
talking about the comics.
Oh, the comics, he caves Glenn's head in like it owes him money.
Yeah. The point though is, a bat was used in a lethal fashion. And while I know it's harder to do, because the skull is the hardest bone in the body, it's supposed to protect our brain. In the case of like Florida law and stuff, and defending yourself from using lethal force against someone with a bat, it could be implied, well, then if he had been my client had been knocked out, he could have used a gun against him, and my client would be dead. So that's why I can justify lethal force in those cases.
Okay.
And that's how it would work.
Okay. Just to cover this, for our scientific fans who are just all about science, just to retcon his previous statement, the femur, strongest bone in the human body. But the skull is pretty hard.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know medical as well as you
Hard as cement.
do. Is it really?
Yep.
Harder than the skull, huh?
Harder than the skull, femur. And you know what? It's also the most devastating if broken, because it's the hardest to come back from.
Wow. Didn't know that.
Why do you think it kills so many old people? They break their hip and then...
Oh.
I mean, the road back's hard. Anyway, so I am almost completely out of stuff here.
Well, I got a few more.
So I'm going to put my last one down, and then we'll go over your stuff.
Okay.
And I will play devil's advocate.
Okay, sure. I mean, I only have 2 more points, and then it's more general comments, but go on.
Well, most of this is just general comments anyway.
Okay.
Why didn't they put a guard on Splinter?
Classic villain mistake.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they were short on manpower. Here's a carton of cigarettes. Here's two 6-packs of beer. Go slow.
I mean,
you're gonna watch him for 6 hours until the next guy gets here.
I wanted to say that he wanted to keep it on the low end of people who knew about Splinter, but then again,
it's easy to just turn the lock way.
Well, what I'm saying is, Danny found him, and besides that, all the Foot Clans who have not gone to that level yet, the kids, came in there to surround Casey and Tatua, and it's like, well,
they're not surprised.
They're not surprised at all. Yeah. But they're not talking about it on the street. That's why I think Shredder would keep it secret, to keep them from talking about it.
Yeah. And I'm just putting this out there. Splinter took down Shredder with a pair of nunchucks after being chained to a wall for God knows how many days.
He conserved his strength.
Okay.
And he remember that move.
Now imagine how many just foot soldiers it would have taken to get Splinter.
Actually, you remember the den, how torn up it was? Splinter fought back.
Yeah, no, that's my statement. How many foot soldiers did it take to go get Splinter, do you think? That's how many people who are just not Shredder and Master Baldy.
I would say over a dozen. And since they saw basically the scout who found the den saw 4 giant walking, talking turtles, a rat the same way, and these guys are trained in martial arts, you can bet they brought at least 2 dozen foot soldiers.
See, this is what I'm getting to, is the fact that it's not like people didn't know. They weren't keeping it a secret.
Yeah.
At least 24 guys, not counting the initial group who broke into the house and beat the turtles to ass, and then got their ass whooped.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gotta think, like, that's at least 30-something people just in the Foot Clan, just the masked guys who saw this. Yeah. And then there's transport. I mean, it's not like it's like, oh, don't look under this bag. Shut up. Give it some cheese. You know?
Yeah, no, you're right. They would have known.
I mean, I'm into arcade games as much as the next guy, but Giant Rat gets pulled next to me.
Like, what
the fuck?
Yeah, that's true, and I agree. But that comes back to the point of, why didn't Shredder just kill him? And it should have. And that actually might be the only real big flaw we have. But okay, the other 2 points that I came across was, 1, why was Raphael out for so long? Okay, he got beat down. It happens. He got thrown through the skylight, hit the ground decently hard, but he is a mutated turtle. He should have some defense, and he's also a trained fighter. He was out for days.
Depression
just kept him out?
Depression can make a person sleep for days.
So spirit was broken kind of thing?
Well, I mean, he got his ass whooped at his thing.
After losing Splinter, and got his ass whooped. Okay.
Yeah, I can chalk it up to major depression.
All right.
And then excessive eating. Because the first thing he said was, I'm hungry.
Yeah, that's true. And he was actually very, like, calm on the phone for a while.
Yeah, he was much more relaxed.
Because, like, all his anger was just gone.
Yeah, he was depressed. He wasn't angry.
All right, and then the last thing I had noticed was, all right, the Foot's just pretty good organization, right?
I doubt it.
But they're organized.
Yeah,
they got. And number 2 shows further that there are definitely some echelon of personnel. Yeah, the young kids first coming in.
They have a hierarchy, yeah.
Yeah.
They got Shredder, they got the Master, they got the guys in the masks, and then they have the guys who don't have their masks.
The bulk of the forces know that the Turtles, April, and this other guy fled, right?
Yeah, they didn't decide to follow.
April O'Neil. Why not investigate all known assets and properties? Still,
I don't think they infiltrated government just yet.
they still could have done some background. And granted, the Turtles came back in a few days.
Yeah, they're Asian. They should have had
Yeah.
computers, right? Racist.
No, I just meant as a criminal organization. And yeah, they were stealing merchandise, electronics. They would have had computers. The point being, though,
But
is
would
that
any of that information been on computer in 1990?
they're ninjas. They could have infiltrated City Hall at night and gotten any records they wanted.
Yeah, that's true. I'll
To be
give you
fair,
that one.
I'm just saying, the point, though, is why did they not do investigations, found the farmhouse, and then could have swarmed the farmhouse?
because
You could have a whole new fight
because
scene.
it was her mother's grandfather's house. It was her mother's father's house.
No? All right.
It wouldn't have been under O'Neill.
I guess we can go with that.
I mean,
You got it's something.
it's either that or, they thought they didn't know that exit led out and they thought the fire killed them.
No, they saw him go through the trap hole.
Yeah.
And he even said they're back. Meaning he knew they were still
Yeah,
alive.
you screwed up, dude.
Let's see. Okay, well then, besides those minor plot holes, let's see. I had some general comments of. My dad did that. Oh, I had to admire the Foot Clan's theft methods. I remember that big truck full of merchandise. In fact, in the scene, when you see only a small bit of the truck, you see it moving slightly,
Yeah.
and that whole truck was empty, and that was filled to the brim, which was really impressive, I gotta say. And they had a good system going, and they could have went farther. Granted, the indoctrination process would have broken eventually because someone would have been like, "Whoa, wait, what are we? This isn't right."
You see, but here's the thing, dude. I feel like part of the signing people up process is showing them exactly what they're capable of. Hey, look, this is the fighting pit where the older guys literally kick the shit out of each other for fun. There's your free cigarettes, your video games, your
Yeah.
toys, your drugs. Okay? Now, once again, I'd like to point you to the guys kicking each other's asses. Okay? If you decide to leave, you can talk to them. See the guys playing video games? If you decide to stay, you can talk to them.
No, I think it's more of an indoctrination process, like brainwashing, because the kids first look, you steal for us, you get whatever you want.
You see,
You get this cool clubhouse to hang out with.
well, yeah, that's not really brainwashing. That's just
The guys in the suits, you got to respect. They're in charge. Okay, all right, yeah. Oh man, they kick butt. Would you like to learn some fighting? Well, yeah. Okay, come on over. We'll start
See-
training you. And before you know it, you're so well into it. You don't, when you catch on, it doesn't even function. You're like, well, yeah, I moved up in the ranks. That's why the young ones who still weren't foot soldiers yet told the police so easily, yeah, go to this warehouse. They realized, we gotta get the heck out of this.
No, I thought it was after seeing. You see, once again, I thought it was after seeing the other guy get his ass kicked.
Probably that too helps.
It's like that's the guy who could whoop my ass. You just whooped his ass. That means you could whoop my ass. Easy transitive property there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you take down the big dog, the rest are gonna back off. I
yeah,
did
that's
notice
true.
one thing in the original scene when you first see the clubhouse. There was one girl there. Why didn't we see any female foot soldiers?
How do you know you didn't? That is so.
Yes, it is. But you know what? Based on the build type of all the foot soldiers,
Okay, here's the thing. At least in Japan, I know this. They bind.
the chest. I'm not really talking about. I'm saying the general curves. These were
Patterns
teenagers.
to cover up gender.
All right, fair enough. Sexist, okay? Give me that look.
Racist, sexist. What's next?
Kudos
And how
to.
do you know that girl identified as a girl?
Actually,
You're forgetting about the times we're in.
I know. I joked about that in my head about that one. Maybe it wasn't actually a girl, but just wanted to identify as that. Anyways.
Okay.
But kudos to John Duprez for the soundtrack. That was a great.
That was a very memorable soundtrack.
It was.
Not so much the second movie, but the first one, yeah.
It kicked butt. That
Oh, yeah.
was. Cool.
I very much enjoyed that soundtrack. Sans Vanilla Ice.
And I mean, besides April just belonging to Casey Jones left and right until the end of the movie, it's kind of
Well,
just stupid.
I mean, after all she had just went through, she lost her father's shop,
yes.
her apartment, and then he just casually mentions, I just saved you an 8-hour walk. Why?
Okay.
Because you just lost your job.
So, all right. So, yeah, he didn't deliver it the best, but still, it's like, oh, I got to walk for him. I was like, well,
okay.
You don't have to. You got, sorry.
Have
you
you
fired.
ever tried delivering your girlfriend bad news?
I know.
You should understand
Okay,
how that.
That initial one, I was like, all right, fine, I can get that. But then throughout the rest of the farm scenes, there was still a lot of
all right.
unnecessary hostility.
She was a traditional feminist,
Okay.
and he was being a bit more chauvinistic than he should have. All right, try walking up to anybody who considers them, neo-feminist, and then saying, "Hey, toots,"
Yeah, they kind of overreact.
You'll get a worse response.
Even
than
though
April
that seemed to
gave.
be Casey Jones' character, that's how he just talks to women. It's like,
Yeah,
hey,
but
hey,
she
babe,
doesn't-
toots, darling, whatever.
She just met him.
Like, he even went through stuff going like, what? Throw me a bone. Which one do you like? That's just my
See,
nickname
yeah,
for you.
Here's the thing, though, is she just met him, too.
Yeah, that's true.
You gotta
But he
remember, it's
did
like when
just-
he walked in to save their ass. Oh, who the fuck is that?
I did like that. Say, who is this guy? Wayne Gretzky on steroids?
Yeah. Raph, the unconscious one's the only one who knows this guy.
Yeah, he would have been like, oh, it's a guy at the park, and. But I mean, that's really all I got from the movie. We pretty much debunked our major plot holes. Can we think of anything that actually kills the movie? Because only the one that is somewhat of a problem
Kill
is that
Splinter.
killing Splinter, but that doesn't kill off the first half of the movie. It just
That doesn't kill.
it changes-
Literally, the last 20 minutes of the movie are changed.
yeah, that's it. And is that really enough to say it's a major gaping plot hole? I think it's a big plot hole, yes, but is it really a major one that changes the entire course of the movie?
Well, it changes the course of the series, which to me is good enough for a plot hole, like a major movie killer. Because look, would you have liked that movie just as much if at the end of the movie Shredder kills all the turtles, Casey Jones never brings the cops to the Foot Clan base?
Oh, that'd be the villain wins, game over story done. 20 minutes before that, it'd been over.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and yeah, that sucks, and that's very rarely done in
Would
movies.
that have been just as good a movie?
Just as good? For
Would
me,
that even have been as good as, say, the third Turtles movie?
as a kid, I would not have enjoyed that. As an adult now, I would appreciate a filmmaker who did try that, because that is a very rarely used plot where the villain wins. Actually, I can't think of one movie where the villain wins.
Payback.
No, he's still technically the protagonist. It's Pluto Nash. The villain won in that. It was just
Because he was the villain.
well, his clone, or he was, I don't know, whatever he was.
He was the original. The clone was the one that took over.
Yeah, but the clone had no reason. The guy was like, I'm just doing my own thing. It was stupid motivation, but the villain still won. The point being, though, is
The
that
villain's always
the villain winning is a very rarely used plot.
Oh, I agree. It's very rare.
And so when you do something where the hero dies, which is not as rare, or a villain wins, you have to do it in a way that it's still satisfying for the audience. As a kid, I would have hated that, and it would have bombed at the box office. This is correct.
That's because
But this
how
was
Pluto Nash did.
But this was advertised. Yeah, I did. This was advertised as a movie based because of the cartoon series. So this was a family get-together movie. So of course we all know the Turtles are going to win.
Are they?
But looking at the plot in itself, even killing off Splinter, does it change the rest of the movies? Yes. But does it change this movie enough? My opinion, no.
Oh, so you're saying that even though there's that major
'Cause
series changer, this
Yeah.
is not a movie killing
For
moment.
this movie, no. And here's why. Let's say he did kill Splinter. They still do the fight. They go face down to Shredder. Shredder beats on them. They get hurt. They could still beat the Shredder, but now they've lost Splinter permanently. And they're injured and have to recoup again.
No.
Because like you said, in the black and white, before the regeneration, Raph got half his head
caved off, yeah.
So-
Like blown off an explosion. Yeah.
So could you imagine more battle-scarred turtles?
yeah, the comic books, dude.
Basically,
Seriously,
it
read
could,
them.
basically, yeah, it could
Yeah.
transition from the '90s cartoons into the original comics from that pivotal moment in this movie.
But here's the thing, though. And
Uh-huh.
to be perfectly honest, if they had killed Splinter, Leo dies too.
Yeah, Leo most likely would have died.
Not most likely. He had a spike over his throat. In, over, head off, and he flicks it off the roof to Casey Jones for the assist.
Yeah.
You know, he's just going to knock it off. Casey Jones can be like, oh shit, soccer ball. That's going to be it.
But I'm just saying.
See, and then, sure enough, in the second movie, they covered a defense for that he didn't even try to use.
Yep.
Well, let's go back in the shell.
Also, let's face it. Leo's jumping dash with the two swords out at Shredder was probably an amateur move against a master like that.
You know what? The fact that Donatello didn't last longer is what upset me.
I think he lasted longest out of all four.
Michelangelo, surprisingly enough, because he took his time. He got into his spin before he started attacking. Everyone else,
Yeah.
their weapons were stationary weapons.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
Mike had to amp it up. I checked this. I really did. I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait. But the fact that Donatello didn't last longer, knowing he's fighting an opponent using the exact
Something
same-
modified, but yes.
Exact same way. He wasn't using the spikes.
It'd be the same style, so yes, you are correct.
It would be, especially because in the old ways, you know, blah, 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 blah. But no, I felt like Donatello, if he was truly as studious as he was in the cartoon show.
Cartoons and the comics, yeah.
Well,
He was more technology, but he was just as studious about his art.
in the comic books, not really.
No?
It was not really the smart one.
Really?
There wasn't really a smart one. It was.
I guess that was more than the
It's
90s, so.
four turtles kicking the shit out of ninjas.
True.
Yeah, it wasn't really. Oh, he's the tech. No, he's not. On the comic
I guess that
books.
was more evolution over time to give them each different personalities. and-
Yeah, the comics they didn't even have different colored things. It
Yeah.
was just
Did you ever see the crossover Turtle Forever episode with one of the newer series where they had the 90s cartoons with the newer ones and they had the black and white ones too?
no. But
Basically, the Shredder Crane combo, because in that series he was Crane but
he was
also
a
Shredder.
robot. Yeah.
Basically, the robot out of show was Shredder, and he got access to the multiverse. He wanted to eliminate the turtles. He realized they were everywhere, so he found Turtle Prime, the black and white turtles, and went in there
Yeah,
to
that
kill
would
them
have
all.
been a mistake.
So here's what happened during that part. The black and white turtles going like, "Did you see those headbands they had? The colored one? Yeah, that was kind of cool actually. They even had the little initials on there. Should we do that? Nah."
Yeah.
But it was for the newer series being okay to watch. That was definitely worth watching that two-parter.
No, like the newest one they have with like the Chuck Norris knockoff and the Bruce Lee fake.
Yeah,
I thought that was entertaining. I'm not gonna lie.
I like the newer ones where they actually. I haven't really watched them too much, but I know of them where.
Teenage Mutant
Yeah,
Ninja Turtles.
where they start actually training April on how to take care of herself.
Yeah. That's what
I
I'm
admire that. I was
talking
like, that should have been done.
where
yeah.
Shredder's actually, just
Oh, and on a side note,
Stardish.
because I did watch the first Michael Bay Turtle, the fact they show Splinter fighting, utilizing his rat form, was badass.
yeah.
I didn't
he
like the
learned from a
Shredder.
book.
Yeah, the one he learned from
Yeah.
the book, but still, well, no, his style was definitely him. He learned his own style because of his body, because he was able to use his tail and everything.
I'll agree, but I mean, that movie actually explains how he learned. It's like I found a book
Yeah.
in the sewer. Oh, hey, look, martial
Try
arts.
that,
See,
and then
You see, and then the worst part is, what if he had found a cookbook? Teenage Mutant Chef Turtles. What's this? Turtle soup. You sick bastard!
yeah.
And then
yeah.
worse, rats are carnivorous, right?
Yeah. Well, I think they're
Okay.
omnivores. They'll eat anything.
Okay, so a rat encounters a couple of turtles looking for food. I like to think that's gonna end a different way.
Well, it could also be the fact that his intellect was growing
Not yet.
at that time.
Not when he found them.
No.
They were crawling around in the ooze when he found them,
it
and
was-
he was just a normal rat.
Yeah. And that actually a joke I had for a moment. Maybe he kept him for food, and then all of a sudden he started growing intellect. And he's like, "Oh man, I'll save him for a little later." And all of a sudden, I don't want to be alone. And then, wow, they're growing big. I'm growing big. I got a family. But I think originally maybe he got them food. I was gonna hold on to him. It was like, I'm smart enough to know to give her food. But but the reality is we don't have a real plot killing plot hole here, do we? This plot was the script was written well enough to avoid any major
If
completely movie
Orokusaki
killing.
was so goddamn great, I mean, or if Yoshi was so great, why did he get defeated by Orokusaki?
He might have gone into a period of not training as much.
Yeah, that
And
that
Orokusaki
does happen,
had,
doesn't it?
yeah, he had vengeance on his mind, so he was training harder. He wanted to go in, kill him, and haha, I win. So he had the motivation to fight harder. So that might be why he won. I mean, I've seen plenty of examples in fiction where they'll have a character who was the badass and decided not to train anymore and became lower tier.
Yeah.
It's like you were stronger as a kid, dude.
Not John Wick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dragon Ball Z, best example. The character Gohan. He went from being the biggest potential, he became force trained by Piccolo. Then he gets his own training on Namek, got powered up because he's behind the curve.
Are we talking about his change from the regular to Battle of Gods?
Hold
Where
on,
he's
no.
all skinny.
No. This is his son, not Goku. Then he goes from that. Then
No,
he
I'm
goes
talking
home.
about Gohan.
Yeah, he trains some more, and he gets his full because he stopped training for a while again after Cell. Gets his full potential unlocked again, so he's now the badass, and then stops training completely. And then Battle of Gods, he's a skinny track running dude. So prime example of if you don't use it, you lose it. And that might have been happening to Yoshi. He wasn't training as hard while Orokusaki was still living that lifestyle. When you have two masters, but one is still doing it, he's going to have an edge. And he had the personal vendetta, so he had a mental edge too.
Yeah, to me, I'll chalk that up not to practice, but experience.
So let's see. I'm going to run through the movie in my head real quick, see if I can help with anything. Unless you can think of an issue with the plot that would just destroy this whole movie. Otherwise, this is one movie that was done well and done correctly. At least to the extent where there's nothing major enough to kill the entire movie.
Well, I mean, other than the fact that none of these ninjas carry shurikens, which was the whole reason behind Raph going back to save April, is that he lost his sai. No, not much. But still, that annoys the heck out of me that these men claim to be ninjas without shurikens. They could have thrown a rock, a tree, anything to break that glass that would have thrown the light out
and not
attacked
the
them. And then they just travel with rope?
You always bring rope.
Well, obviously, but you always bring a knife, too.
Leo had swords.
But not a knife.
Casey Jones and the farm team were using one of Leo's swords as a knife. So clearly, they used a sword to cut the rope when they were done tying them up.
Which is just sad.
That it is.
Alright.
But yeah, so I guess the conclusion is
This movie has not been killed.
the movie survives. And I'm kind of
But
happy.
the series is dead.
The series would definitely still suffer. It would be drastically different. Well, it'd be not drastically, it'd be closer to the original comics, I think.
I feel like it would be four Turtleheads sitting on Shredder's mantle for part 2.
I would like to think of scarred, war-torn turtles that would have still have overcame Shredder, but they would have been very different.
See,
They would have been darker, more
I
serious.
honestly feel that he would have killed Leo. He would have impaled one of the other turtles through the head as they were running away.
Yeah.
There might have been 2 turtles left, and the rest of the clan could actually have taken those 2 turtles out. Because there's no way 2 turtles are running off and you're not going to see them running away.
Okay. Then I will agree with you on that one.
The sad thing about it is that there's one person who could have defeated Shredder by himself easily, apparently. And he did technically by pulling the switch. But Casey Jones really could have taken out the Shredder.
Yeah.
In the same way he took out everyone else. And it just came to me and I forgot to even realize it because I'm just watching the movie and being entertained.
Yeah.
He's got a fighting style they don't use. All right, once again, martial arts is you learn how to fight via katas.
Yes.
Okay? You learn how to block this punch with this parry.
Oh, I see.
How to block that punch with
Casey
that
has
parry.
a unique style that their katas don't.
Like, oh, I've never seen how to block uppercut with a cricket bat because I've never studied cricket bat.
Okay. All right, but so your point though is that since Casey had a unique fighting style, he actually was able to surprise them and overcome every foot soldier.
Well,
Everyone. He actually had he never went down from a foot soldier. He got knocked down from the Tetsuya, but
and
he
then
came
got back up and whooped his ass with a style Tetsuya had never seen before.
Yeah, and one that he was familiar with.
Yeah. And even then, the foot soldiers who attacked him after he killed the Shredder. Or moved the truck after he...
Yeah, he still just went 1, 2, they're down.
Yeah, he punches one with a quick jab. He punches another one with a backhand.
So it's to say that Casey Jones is one of the strongest fighters in that movie.
He took out a master. He took out multiple foot soldiers. He even took out Raph.
Yep.
The strongest fighter. And a lot... I mean, honestly, yeah. He took a couple hits after he got disarmed.
Okay. All right, so to wrap it up, in conclusion, I'm going to agree with you on this. That by Shredder not killing Splinter, it's a series killer. It would kill off the rest of the series and make them very different movies if the Turtles survive somehow. Otherwise, this movie by itself...
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I have just screwed that royally.
Because of Casey?
Yes. Even if Splinter died, all the Turtles die, you still have Casey Jones.
It still kills off the franchise because now it's no longer Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's Casey Jones.
But now there's still somebody to stop Shredder, thus...
But it still kills.
You see, if Shredder had been able to continue on with his evil plan...
Yes.
After the Turtles died, that's killing the franchise for me.
Okay.
But if Casey Jones were to stop him, the Turtles might... The 2 remaining living Turtles might revamp.
Okay.
They might,
It would still make the series very different.
Yes.
So the movie by itself has no real plot hole that kills it.
Yeah, and
But
then
there is-
apparently the series.
There is a
keep-
pivotal moment where Shredder had just killed Splinter when he had him captive. It would have otherwise changed or ended the franchise completely movie-wise.
Yes.
So, all right. So, well done then, guy. Well done, because the movie by itself is fine. But you could still kill the franchise. So I think that.
Oh, I could.
I think that's going to be it from this one, and we'll continue
Alright.
Turtles with Secret of the Ooze. Yes.
Oh God, Secret of the Ooze.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. This is Blake,
This is Tom.
and we'll see you next Friday.